I'm gonna look through this book and see what we can find out. It's gonna be a little bit of reading right now. So if you, as typical people, are joining us to fall asleep, so if that's your jam right now, trying to fall asleep, I wish you a happy bedtime story right now, and we'll see what happens. I'm gonna start from the start and go all the way to the end, through all the pages right now. Happy sleeping, everyone. I always feared this day would come. For years, Catherine and I have dreamed of restoring Denny. We have dedicated our lives to the task, taking it upon ourselves to locate the citizens of Denny and convince them to return to the ruined city and rebuild. Our dream has become the dream of so many now, and the progress we have made toward achieving it is something of which we all can stand proud. But I know now that it has been a mistake. The city of Denny should not be restored. It should stand forever in ruins, as both a symbol of our past mistakes and a memorial to all who lost their lives when Denny fell. The devastating events of recent months, the war on Terrane and the death of Uta in particular, have driven this truth home to me quite forcefully. If we rebuild the city walls today, are we not giving approval to the very illness that destroyed our civilization in the first place? Are we not setting ourselves up to repeat the pattern again in future generations? I have put much thought into this tonight, and I have found only one solution. If we, the men and women who survived the downfall of Denny, are to thrive, then we must break the pattern of hatred which has destroyed so many lives. We must begin our civilization anew. We can only do that if I write as a new age. I have spoken with Catherine about this, and she agrees. I only hope the others will see it as well. Will these people never cease to amaze me? I thought they would object to my decision. After all, most of them linked back to Denny specifically to see the city rebuilt. But when I told them why we should not restore it, the response was immediate and anonymous. Whereas yesterday they thought only of rebuilding, today they concentrate solely on salvage. They intend to take from their ruined city only that which is best and move on. Everywhere I look, the enthusiasm for this new task is obvious. It heartens me even as I face my own monumental contribution. I have written many ages in my lifetime, from my first timid attempts under the tyrannical tutelage of my father to my most recent accomplishments. Averon. We haven't heard about that one. Never before has so much been riding on my skill. The age I am about to write must be all I ever imagined and more. How am I going to achieve it? Catherine laughed this morning when she saw me drudging out my old notebooks. I must have made quite the picture. Sitting near the ember of the fire, surrounded by countless commentaries and journals. Some of them seemed more dust than paper. But the hours I spent rifting through them was worth it. Does it really say rifting? It's rifting. Ideas for what this new age might be and tumbling around in my head. There are almost too many to catch hold of. That looks so amazing, though. That looks really amazing. Obviously, I must choose some starting point as my anchor. Writing age is a science, a precisely structured equation of words. Every equation needs as its foundation an underlying concept around which the age can develop. In the past, I have written my books around whatever idea intrigued me the most at the time. I wanted to discover how the age to which the book linked would manifest the result of that idea. Sometimes civilization had arisen, sometimes they had not. But whether a society had come to exist on the age or not, it was often in response to whatever concept the book I had written embodied. This time, my search for a concept must be weighed by very carefully. I already have the civilization I wish to see develop. I know our history as a people and the path we have followed to arrive here. Today I must write a book which will link to an age that will allow us to continue on our journey. On our way. growing ever stronger as one people. What underlying concept must this new age reflect that will best allow our civilization to thrive? I fear I must think of this some more. It has taken me some time, but I might have found my anchor. It come to me as I considering what I know about the survivors of Denny. We have seen so much tragedy in our lives, from the destruction of the city to the suffering and loss of loved ones due to plague and deprivation. Look at that. It looks such an amazing place. Yet even in the midst of these adversities, my kinsman and I have found the strength to keep going. We have tapped into our individual strength and transformed ourselves into something much stronger. It is characteristic I've seen in several of my ages. It is a characteristic I have seen in several of my ages. Whenever I focus my writing on the inherent energy sources in a world, long ago, grandmother taught me that no life, no possibility for life in an age exists. Wait, what? Long ago, grandmother taught me that no life, no possibility for life in an age exists without the presence of energy. By tapping into its latent energy sources, an age moves out of stasis. It grows, transforms, and develops. Energy is the underlying fuel that powers all activity. To put it more simply, energy powers future motion. Yet, as grandmother also liked to remind me, energy in an age takes on diverse forms. Each one has strengths and weakness of its own. How many forms will this new age contain? Which type will be its dominant theme? Tomorrow I will link back to Myst. Oh, and from there revisit several of my ages. Perhaps in my old worlds I will discover new ideas. Good thinking, actually. I had almost forgotten how painful it is to revisit Myst. In the 10 years since my sons Sirius and Achenar left me, trapped on Kvir Island and burned so many of my books. Kvir Island. Oh, so it was not in Denny then. Catherine and I have rarely linked back. I told myself we were always too busy. First with writing ages like Averon, then with researching the ages of Denny for survivors. I always said we would spend more time on Myst eventually. The truth is, I have been avoiding the age. Seeing the island in its current condition ignites so much anger and grief. I am immediately reminded of the betrayal of my sons, as well as the cruelty and greed with which they plundered my age. I know I am partly responsible for their acts. I constantly wonder if there was something I could have done to reach out to the boys before. Enough! Nothing can change the tragedies of the past. Like my Denny kinsman, I must salvage what is best and move on. Perhaps in the process I will find forgiveness and hope. Once again, I am back on Myst Island, having completed a lengthy journey through several of my ages. The trip itself was not as inspiring as I had hoped. The Hellenic age was especially disturbing, but has it not always been so? The very first time I linked to the age, its uninhabited landscape was shaken with tremors. At the time, I felt it was because the energy in the age was unfocused, as if it were at the war with itself. Stability finally came, but even after it did, I never truly felt comfortable there. I missed the more natural balance of ages like Channel would. Perhaps that is the lesson to take home with me. The Denny, too, have faced much turmoil in their history. Their lives have been unsettled enough. Perhaps I should be striving to offset the energy that already exists within our civilization by providing it with a more stabilized environment in which to grow. An environment in which the natural equilibrium of the world serves as a counterpoint to the upheavals of civilization. The more I consider it, the more I wonder if I should make nature the foundation of this new age. Worlds like Channel will attain equilibrium quite easily, primarily because of one reason. Nature encourages mutual dependence. As one life withers and dies, it provides nourishment, so that another might live. Plants become food for other animals, and the waste product animals cannot absorb become nutrients to sustain the other plants. So long as nothing intrudes to upset this balance, nature can maintain itself indefinitely. An interesting metaphor to set as an example for my people. I think I will confer with Catherine on this subject. Her ages always exhibit symbiosis more dramatically than mine. Perhaps she should help me write this new age. Catherine writing ages as well? I don't think this has ever been referenced before, right? I think so. I am so tired. I can barely think right now. But I will force myself to stay focused, for I have not written anything in days. The moment I linked back to Denny, I was besieged with requests for my assistance. Master Tammen wanted to consult over which stone cutters were worth salvaging. And did I think the rock in this new age would be difficult to sound? Oma and Exile needed my opinion about a new history they had uncovered. Should they hold off on starting on its translation, or would paper supplies be scarce in the new age? There were so many questions needing answers. I barely had time to see Catherine. She, of course, laughed at my dilemma, saying that I had no one to blame but myself. After all, I was the one who encouraged Denny to start over. Naturally, they will look to me to keep them moving in the right direction, unless some other force stepped in to change that view. Her words made me realize a fundamental principle I had thus far been ignoring. All this time, I have been debating whether to make energy or nature the underlying framework for this age, but there is another equation to consider. An age based solely on the future motion of energy will face constant upheavals, most likely at the cost of tranquility. And an age based solely on the mutual dependence of nature can become so balanced over time it may cease to tolerate change. Yet, to continue to grow as people, then civilization needs both. Occasional upheavals followed by periods of balanced stability. I have seen such situations occur naturally on several of my ages. Each time, it was because I centered the writing around some dynamic force that I had decided to make prevalent in the age. Such forces allow the balance between forward motion and mutual dependence to fluctuate. As one concept takes precedence, the other reduces until another force is surfaced to change things. As Catherine's insightful comment reminded me, dynamic force spurred change. I am too tired to think more on this tonight. Hopefully in the morning my thought will something that will be more clear, is what it's going at. If you look at some of these pages, you can see right here, dynamic force spurred change. It's marked in a different color than the rest, just like nature encourages mutual dependence. And the first one, energy powers future motion. I feel like I should write these down. I believe these will be important. I don't know why. They might only be keynotes for Atrus, of course. But I feel like I want to write this down. Energy empowers future motion, right? Yeah, future motion. So future motion. Nature, on the other hand, nature encourages mutual dependence. Mutual dependence. Wait, so if I understand things right, there is this guy who's writing books, and these books define what the world is like. Yes, Henry, that is correct. That has been the story since the very first Myst. The guy that we are helping, Atrus, is the writer of pretty much all the ages we have visited. Some of them have been written by other people, but most of them have been written by Atrus himself. We are traveling through. Is there even a real world in this game, or is everything just a book? I'm not too clear if the things written in the books, the places that we are actually traveling to using the link in books, they are real places, but they are brought into existence thanks to the things that Atrus are writing in his books, I believe. Where everything began, we don't know yet. Did I skip the pages now? There should have been one more, right? Nature encourages mutual dependence. Shift call left. Each time it was because I centered writing around some dynamic force. Dynamic force spur changed. There we go. Dynamic forces spur change. Spur change. So the question regarding what is the true the true real world nowadays, we haven't gotten that far yet. We don't know. The only thing we know is that everything that is written in these books, they are creating links into new locations that become real places. The people there will start developing the civilizations, the animals, the trees, the plants. There are different materials. They may even interact with each other using linking books to go between the different places and learn from each other, which is what Atrus has been doing when he wrote this journal regarding going back to his previous locations, the one in Myst. I'm hearing birds right now. Is that in game or was that in real life? I think it was real life. But I think I'm just going to keep on reading a little bit. I don't know how much we have to go here. Shouldn't be too many pages, I believe. Catherine surprised me today. Apparently, while I was off visiting my agents, she linked to Myst by herself. She did not say so, but I could tell that her visit had been painful. More than ever now, I am convinced we must find a place to begin again ourselves. Perhaps when I have written this new age for the Denny, I will put some thought into where Catherine and I might live. I cannot believe I did not see it before. All this time I have been struggling to describe the perfect age for the Denny. I have considered and then rejected several underlying concepts which I felt might best set the course for the future, as if I alone should determine how Denny civilization will grow. In my own way, I have become as egoistical as my father. In truth, I owe this realization to Catherine. Sensing my indecision about the new age, she led me on a walk around Denny. Salvaging efforts were well underway, with teams of people scoring the ruined harbor district. As I watched my Denny kinsmen deciding which part of their culture to retain, I realized they do not need me to determine their future. They are quite capable of setting its course by themselves, regardless of what age I write. This realization has opened my eyes to the best way of approaching my task. I no longer need to worry about which underlying concept, energy, nature, or I no longer need to worry about which underlying concept, energy, nature, or dynamic forces I should make prevalent in the ages. Rather, I must strive to include them all. I must write a balance of systems into the descriptive book, enough so that the Denny people will constantly be challenged to attain their ultimate potential. As grandmother often pointed out to me when we spoke about ages back on Myst, balanced systems stimulate civilizations. There we go. That's the fourth one. Magical will... Yes, you would. That's true, though. I'm sorry to hear that Magical was not feeling too well today. It would have been a wonderful time to have her here, actually. Balanced systems stimulate civilization. Civilizations. At last I feel I am ready to begin writing this age. Indeed, I am eager to begin. I have already come up with the perfect name. I know grandmother would have loved it. Of course, Catherine would tell the moment I turned to her that I had finally found my starting point. I babbled on excitedly for some time before I noticed the smile she was hiding. When I saw it enough to grow suspicious, she handed me one of my oldest age books. She must have picked it up when she linked back to Myst. Seeing the name Jinanin emblazoned on the book cover, I could only shake my head. The one age I never got around to revisiting was the one that might have helped me the most. How foolish was I to have completely forgotten it. I think, after I have finished this work, I should take one final trip, if only to help restore an old fool's memories. They're going to Jinanin. But that's where Savidro came from, right? No, wait, Jinanin is where we are right now. Savidro was from Narayan. But this is Jinanin, the learning place for... Oh, so this is the learning world. Wonderful, wonderful. And this is how it all links back. Oh, but I can't read more than that. Oh, that's the last page. I was really hoping for more to spur from that, reading there. But that's wonderful, that's wonderful. So, Jinanin, where we are right now, is a place where he would have revisited for ideas. Huh. But that didn't teach me anything new, though. Can I use this one to go somewhere else? No, we cannot spin it around or anything. That's okay, though. That's okay. I wonder, though, if I missed something somewhere over here. I don't think so. I think I've looked around for paths to take. Was that always there? I guess it was, huh? Nope. Did the game just crash? Nope. It was just loading something. They don't change anything. It's so odd. Is it because I have this one activated? That doesn't change anything either. How odd. Why is it like that? So I can't lock myself in, at least. That's good to know. I guess that's positive, but still very odd, is it not? I wonder, can I step on these stone? Yeah, I can. Oh, here we go. What is this? Scary plants. Do I really want to touch them? I don't know. I think it's safe to save over this one, right? That one I can't interact with, but this one I most likely can. Ah! Whoa! Is that a little bunny? It's lizard of some sort. Okay. Whoa! And now we push. Oh, be careful there. Oh, he's happy. He's happy. He's eating something. I did good? I guess so. You look happy. Will you stay there if I walk back? Seems so. I don't know why, but he's happy at least. We gave him food. Wonderful. I wonder, can I hear him using the flower? Oh, he's so happy. Listen to that. Happy little fellow. Is there anything else I can hear with this one that I missed? Wind. Lagoon water. And then a little guy chirping. Oh, that's what made him grow. I'm so silly. There we go. Wonderful. Of course. Because the chirping down there is what made the plant grow. I didn't realize. And hearing the chirping, these fruits react as well, as if the animal would be here. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Look at that. Progress once again. I recognize this puzzle right here. We've seen this before in the other room. We don't know the solution to this one yet. But we have 2 of these puzzles now. Perhaps this is where we will learn what will happen? I don't remember seeing this anywhere else. So I'm not sure what would teach me about it. Anything in the floor? No. This is a blue ball right here though. The other one had a red one, right? I wonder if that has anything to do with it. This one being a blue one and all. The sound is emitting from the same place, no matter where I put these, right? It's hard to tell if it's... I think it's free movement, but sometimes it's locking in regards to these lines. We still don't know if it's things we changed under the elevator. If they actually... if it actually changed something or not. Can't go anywhere else from here, right? Nope. Can we see something from there? Not quite. I like that you can see that this area has changed. That the little fruits are up there and stuff like that. That's pretty cool. What time is it? Oh, it's 1 AM. It's actually getting late for me. I might have to think about soon. Oh, look at that, look at that. There's a crest up there as well. That's a bird or a bell, right? The other one over here was more like a ship, in my opinion. And the one over here, on that one, was more like a globe or a ball with symbols on it.